Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition is finally here! It's real! Oh my god, it's been an agonizing 4 months without any news from Nintendo, much less a tracking number to even confirm that the $90 I spent on that stupid box even happened. That's on top of the fact that we previously spent months refreshing their online store page to even be able to pre-order, all before the pre-orders randomly went live for all of 2 seconds, crashing the entire Nintendo website for hours. On 3 separate occasions. I spent dozens of hours on at least 3 different devices personally refreshing and waiting hopelessly in broken online queues in order to even have the privilege of purchasing one of those stupid things before greedy scalper bots scoop them all up. Don't believe me? Just check eBay! And that's just our experience in the US. The UK store didn't even allow pre-orders until the past month. Yeah, pre-orders for a game that came out 4 months ago! And guess what happened? The site crashed. The site crashed! In seconds! Again! Why was this special edition only available on Nintendo's website? And how many site-wide crashes does it take to realize that your servers can't handle all of your customers? Every aspect of this pre-release was atrociously handled and utterly botched by Nintendo. This insulting Wario render that every single hopeful fan got instead of the pre-order page they waited hours for in an online queue is the one true Xenoblade villain, and you can't change my mind. Oh, and let's not forget that after getting the pre-order to finally go through, they ended up delaying the actual game itself, as well as the special edition stuff, for weeks after the game came out. Oh, you heard him right. Our thanks for fighting to secure pre-ordering the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition was an extra 2 weeks of waiting after release day, and then wait an extra few months for the actual Special Edition contents. Alright, now that we got that out of our system, it's here! Oh, you better be good! Oh, right, the skit thing! Excuse me, is this a bad time? Monolith! I wasn't expecting you. Come on, sit down. Thank you. So after our last meeting, I decided to do some changes. Good. After making one of the best RPGs in history, that sequel you crapped out afterwards stank so hard I had to get my nose cauterized. I think you'll like what you'll see. We'll see about that. Well, it's magnificent. Monolith, I knew you could do it! Oh, it's no big deal. I just tried to work in everything you said you loved about the first game, but with loads of quality of life improvements, and basically tossing everything from 2 that you despised. Even the cover art is literally stabbing Uriah in the back with the Mikada's sword! Subtleties for chumps. Oh, spark me! I don't even know where to begin! Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is absolutely everything great about the first game and more. But for the sake of time, I'm gonna assume you know and have played the first game, so let's just focus on the and more. Oh, and if you played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, first of all, I am so sorry. Secondly, you'll appreciate a landmark or 2 as well as an Easter egg here and there, but you'll mostly appreciate that 2 has basically been... The world of Xenoblade 3 is the result of the worlds of 1 and 2 colliding, more literally than metaphorically, resulting in half of your party originating from descendants of the races in colonies from 1 called Kavessis, and the other half from 2 called Agnians. Your Kavessi party members do combat and arts using the cooldown meters from 1, whereas the Agnians need to perform auto attacks to charge their arts meter, just like in their respective games. But to make things even more interesting, each member can learn and master arts utilized by the other side, allowing you to deeply customize their move pools and fighting styles. However, the best part about the combat is that all 6 of your party members will actively participate in battle. Nobody gets benched. And on top of that, you can also recruit many potential 7th party members called heroes who will also fight alongside you in combat and can be cycled in and out as you see fit. The fact that this is even possible on the Switch, with everything else going on, is mind-blowing. Okay, so 7 active party members in an open-world RPG is amazing and all, but the real best part of the combat is the class system, borrowed and revamped from the likes of Final Fantasy IV. Each character and hero in the game sports their own unique weapon class, arts, stats, and even outfit style. And through experience, your other party members fighting alongside them will slowly learn to use these classes for themselves. This gets so obsessive and deep, where you'll spend hundreds of hours not only teaching your party member every class and leveling up those classes all to 10, but also completing character side quests to raise that level cap to 20. It's highly rewarding to experiment and try new classes all the time. And thanks to the outfit themes, it's actually quite easy to keep classes straight in your head during battle. You can also customize each character with up to 3 gems, which are much easier to manage now that each member is sharing the gem once you craft it. And they automatically use the best version once you level it up in a simple, comprehensive tree. And if you don't want to collect all the goods, you can just spend some accumulated Nopon coins just to bypass the crafting requirement altogether. You can even use those nifty Nopon coins for meals and upgrading classes faster if you want to. There's also up to 3 slots of equipment for further customization of their stats and abilities. And if you're not feeling up to organizing your whole party's arts, gems, and equipment, there's a lovely auto button. However, I personally preferred having my team maximize gems for their class and moves that can complete the break, topple, launch, smash combo. Each of your Kavesi party members can also interlink with one of your 3 Agnian members, resulting in them fusing into 3 pairs of overpowered monstrosities called Ouroboros. And even these forms can be customized in their own skill tree and vary in looks and performance based on which of the 2 interlinking members are taking the lead. The story will nudge you along certain paths. This colossal open world will constantly tempt you to explore off the beaten path with new colonies to liberate, secret areas, supply airdrops, side quests, hero quests, unique named monsters, fast travel landmarks to discover, the Collectopedia pages, and so much more. There is so much more to unpack there, but we just do not have the time. So just take my word that this game world will suck you in quickly with its enormously packed areas, but will hook you with its combat and class systems alongside its rewarding nature of exploration. Without spoiling anything, after you reach the end credits, you'll be given an option for New Game Plus, as well as an amazing level down feature. I know it sounds counterintuitive at first, but trust me, it's amazing. So you remember how you accrue bonus XP for finding landmarks and doing side quests and stuff like that? Well, you can spend that XP at certain campsites to level up like usual, or in post-game, choose to level down and stockpile all your earned XP so you lose nothing, but make sure that your characters are scaled properly for doing side quests and fighting unique monsters and such. This is actually outrageously helpful for accruing class points, among other things, as the game rewards them to you based on your level proportionate to the challenge. Most RPGs die down after credits, but Xenoblade 3 not only makes everything incredibly more rewarding and fun to play, but it's jam-packed with so many quests and things to do that it'll take a tremendous undertaking to complete it all. And then you can start New Game Plus. There's also no gacha or real-time waiting, did I mention that? You also didn't mention that eating meals didn't provide any of the buffs the game said it would until the first update patched it in. Oh, I wasted so many Nopon coins on a buffet of lies! Damn you, Manana! I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this just might be the best looking game on the Nintendo Switch. Yeah. The character and creature designs, much less the gargantuan world design itself, is all magnificent. The characters are all so expressive and colorful, helping illustrate the story beats and emotion that the story demands. I'll admit, getting 3D anime style art in games is extremely hard to do correctly. But man, just look at how vibrant and alive just these characters' eyes are. I want to point out what a huge step forward the UI has taken from the last game. Everything is very clear and simple considering how much actually needs to be on screen to maintain 7 active party members and organize all those options and potentially confusing menus. Man, even the Ouroboros designs are all incredible. I also love how they're all visually reflecting the actual style of the character who's taking the lead of the interlink. How about those adorable chibi sprites from the class selection menu? I gotta get a set of pins or decals or something of the main team. They're too adorable. Shame there were no physical Nintendo rewards for this game. Missed opportunity. But hey, we are getting a Mio Figma from Good Smile, which only tells me that more are on the way if she sells, right? At first I was confused they picked Mio and not Noah for that, but then I beat Chapter 5. If you know, you know.
Here I am, staring at my...
Alright, enough farting around. It's story time, baby! All anyone has ever known in the land of Ionius is war. They are born from large test tubes as young adults, and after 10 years of service, they are sent on by their queen and released into the world's ether. That is, assuming that they can even survive 10 years of constant battle. Regardless, this event is called a homecoming, and is all everyone ever has to look forward to, and reaching that day is considered the highest honor one can achieve in their short lifetime. The 2 nations at war are Kevis and Agnes, spread out across the world in the form of giant mobile mech deployable colonies, all ruled by flame clocks. colonies are instructed to take the lives of their opposing nations in order to fill their own colony's flame clocks to ensure that it doesn't run dry, meaning the demise of all of its residents. Noah, Uni, and Lance are all Kevesi soldiers who end up head-to-head with Mio, Tyon, and Senna, all Agnian soldiers, in a battle to defend their colonies from each other. Through a twist of fate, the 6 soldiers end up with the power to interlink with the opposing side, experiencing their lives and memories as if they were all their own, and temporarily fused into each other. This ability gets haphazardly forced upon the unwilling and understandably uncooperative opposing soldiers by a mysterious third-party character named Vandam. No, not the same Vandam who looks kind of similar to the one from before. He's basically Final Fantasy's Sid for Xeno games, so don't dwell on it. So Vandam was transporting this big hunk of metal and superpowers back to his native mysterious third faction of soldiers in waiting. But after being shot down and losing his entire crew, he desperately bestows this Ouroboros power on the Happenstance party, instructing them on how to find his people at the base of the Mechonis sword. And considering that the newly melded party have just become enemies of the eyes of both Kevis and Agnes, they reluctantly join together and journey across the continent to discover the truth about their world. And it's best we leave it at that to avoid spoiling too much. I'll at least leave you with my absolute highest recommendation that you play this game and experience the story for yourself. And no, you do not need to have played Xenoblade 1, 2, or even X to appreciate the narrative in full. I will say that this experience was somehow even more gripping than Xenoblade 1, and in my eyes has become the best written story in any RPG I have ever played. But if you need some more convincing than that, we'll have a minor spoiler skip for some of the die-hard fans, but I do promise I won't be discussing any of the big plot twists or the ending or anything. So it's just up to your discretion if you really want to hear any more. I do, however, want to establish a bit more on that third faction that Vandam sent the group to, as it sets the party up for the second half of the game. Upon reaching the Mechonis sword, the party discovers a colony of people living in a massive hidden city inside the sword itself. And to the great surprise of the party, these people grow old, have children, work together to survive in a world where 2 armies are constantly battling it out beneath them, ignorant to how the world really works. It turns out that the colonists in the city all descend from the original 7 cities' founders, who are immortalized in statue form in the city's heart, as well as in name tradition, as the 7 founders inspired 6 different democratically cooperative sub-factions. And with a quick glance at the 6 statues themselves, the 7th of which is hidden, and reading up on their plaques, players might recognize who some of these founders really were. Just to name a few: Shulk from Xenoblade 1, an aged Rex from Xenoblade 2, and even Fei Fong Wong from Xenogears on the PlayStation. Finally bringing the original game into canon for the first time since its release in 1998. Oh my god, I screamed! It's just so cool. They even got the rights to make this happen for how subtle it is. But the coolest part is now that we know that Xenogears is not only canon to the story, happening sometime in the early ages of Ionius, but it also happened alongside the Xenoblade series, or maybe more accurately, between it. You see, as the group explores the city, they come to understand the history of Ionius, namely how this entire universe came to exist when 2 neighboring dimensions, the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and 2, physically merged with each other. However, the worlds became locked together due to an interference from the villainous immortal Mobius, utilizing the constant war factories of life energy to keep them alive and to perpetuate this frozen state of time referred to as the Endless Now. You still following me here? I'm just checking in for your mental health. Yes, somehow all time has been frozen in this weird interdimensional overlap, and it's the Mobius that are exploiting the lives of everyone on Ionius in order to fuel their immortality. So screw them, right? Well, it turns out those colony flame clock thingies are how the Mobius are all farming life energy, so the party decides to use their combined strength to smash as many flame clocks as they can to free the enslaved colonists regardless of their allegiance, gain allies, and slowly turn the whole world against Mobius. And that's what the game itself really is. You're slowly moving up in the world by saving colonies, recruiting new allies, and defeating Mobius one by one. However, the group is also secretly aware that by destroying Mobius and stopping the Endless Now will only result in the end of the world as they know it. And it's that slow descent into inevitability that drives the group, but also slowly reveals who they all are deep down. These are some of the best written characters I've ever had the pleasure of taking on a world-changing adventure. Each one is so well thought out and developed that it's genuinely painful saying goodbye to them all at the end. Which I'm not going to talk about. I'm not crying, you're crying. This story is absolutely beautiful. In fact, it's so spectacular, I refuse to tell you any more than that, even though I fully talked spoilers for Xenoblade 1 and 2. And don't get me wrong, this game's incredible! Not this one, but this is one of the best RPG stories ever, and I am 100% admitting right now that this one is even better. Yeah, though we said before this wasn't a real spoiler section, I can't bring myself to rob someone of one of the best stories in gaming history, spoiler skip or not. It's like ruining your first Metal Gear Solid or BioShock. If you're not sold now, then I don't know what's wrong with you. Alright, well now I'm just gonna sound like a broken record. Whatever. This is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard. Yasunori Mitsuda returns alongside Ace and the other wonderful past composers to make one of the most outstanding collective works I've ever heard. It seriously sounds like somebody threatened them that this would be their last time composing music ever, so they went all out. Utilizing handcrafted flutes for the music direction was a brilliant idea, and really personalized the role of the Offseers, sending off their fallen comrades into the ether FF10 style. That makes 3 different Final Fantasy references so far. Yes, I swear I'm gonna get around to playing and reviewing those more. Stop looking at me like that. Random side note. I made this joke tweet specifically predicting flutes for the Nintendo Direct that ended up revealing this game as its big one more thing, where flutes play a large role in the game. Now all I gotta do is delete all my other garbage tweets and I'm officially an insider. We haven't even talked about the outstanding voice cast yet. Though the battle lines can get repetitive, the customizable class and art system constantly changes their dialogue, which if anything helps the player clear up who is doing what and fulfilling what role and when. Though this is already a tremendous amount of voice lines, it comes at the expense of their lines and attitudes changing based on their affinity for each other like in 1. Kind of a missed opportunity with a party of soldiers from opposing sides learning to cooperate and rely on each other. All you need to know is that Noah thinks you're a lightsaber, Mio needs some Wuta, Yunie's the bus, Tyon thinks sometimes brute force is the answer, Lance thinks he's the MVP, and Senna is the girl with the gall. Everybody gets a rhyme time level line, and I am so glad. Also, 2's horrendous stacking sound mixing effect thing is fixed for anybody who's asking. I didn't even get around to mentioning that in my Xenoblade 2 video now that I think about it. Shut up about 2! Anyway, the vocal tracks are probably the best in the whole Xeno series. And yes, that's tracks, plural. And you better not play them because I'm gonna cry. Too bad, I thought you'd want something a bit meatier. I have absolutely no idea what techno-voodoo witchcraft Monolith Soft needed to cram this colossal game onto this dinky little toenail and get it to outperform everything else on the system. This is the best RPG I have ever played. And yes, I've played Chrono Trigger, and Persona 5, and Super Mario RPG, and The Witcher 3, and Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy?
No, Kim, not right now. We're doing Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
So is that your favorite game on the Switch, or what?
I see you peacefully, you're in your dreams. Everything seems calm and free. I know if we want this warmth to last forever again, let's go back to that.
Yes! 10. I used my thinking muscles for this one. But what do you think? Let us know how your positive and critical sides rate Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in the comments below. But man, if this isn't the best Xenoblade, then you're just playing with yourself. Thanks to you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more, and use the links in the description to nominate your own episode. And thank you to all of our Patreon members, Aspen, Atomic Thomas, Arrow, and Sid. Booyah!